pure terror as a bike rider is set upon by a pack of vicious pit bulls. 46-year-old Chris Culbertson was riding through his neighborhood when two menacing dogs began circling him. He loses his balance, and when he falls, 5 more dogs who escape out of a hole in the fence come at him from all sides. He tries in vain to fight them off, but they're in a frenzy and drag him away. The attack lasted a full 23 minutes, and when it was finally over, he had sustained more than 300 bites.
Like they wanted to drag him over to their yard. Like he was like their dinner or something.
We spoke to Chris Culbertson's sister, Angela.
My brother was screaming, as you can imagine, for help. And they were just pulling at him and he couldn't get up. He said he tried. He was reaching for help and he was trying to get up, but he just couldn't.
At one point, a brave neighbor tries to lend assistance, but she's also attacked and runs away to call for help. Culbertson spent 4 days in the hospital before dying of septic shock caused by his wounds. Angela said she and her brother had previously owned pit bulls and felt comfortable around them.
I don't blame the dogs, and neither would my brother. I blame the owners for teaching these dogs to be that way.
The pain and suffering that goes on in something like that is unimaginable. Going to the hospital, being there for several days, and finally succumbing to the injuries. I mean, that had to be a terrible, awful, miserable way to die. Is there liability for the owners of the dogs? In a case like this, it's almost obvious. Like, yeah, of course they're going to have some liability. It's hard to imagine that these dogs all of a sudden out of nowhere became vicious or violent or anything like that. I mean, it didn't just flip in an instant. I'm sure they had notice or knowledge of it. The problem always is, in cases like these, is that the owner of the dogs doesn't have any assets. They don't have any insurance. If somebody was renting that person a house, if they knew about the dogs or had any knowledge or should have had notice of the dog's propensities, that can bring in the owner of the property where they lived. Again, these are all very difficult issues to try and put some liability on somebody with some money and some insurance. And of course, the insurance companies will fight them. They're difficult fights, but it all really kind of boils down to whether or not they had notice or should have had notice. I think when you have a pit bull, it's already suspect. The likelihood of this family getting anything out of a lawsuit for this is pretty low. You gotta look under every stone. That's why if you get involved in something like this, unfortunately, the first call should be to a lawyer. It's just a tragic, tragic story. Let us know what you think in the comments below. And while you're down there, please like and subscribe. Thanks again for watching.